Yep, you saw me. There you go, guys. That's a fish. There you go, guys. That's unreal! Oh, this is such an awesome looking fish. Oh, yeah! Alright, guys, check that out.
What's up, everyone? Scott the TroutHammer here, and I got another unboxing video for you guys. Now, about a year ago, I did an unboxing video for the mystery tackle box bass box. It's like this mystery tackle box thing, sort of like the subscription boxes, but you can find them in the stores. I found this one at Dick's Sporting Goods, but this time we're going with the Panfish and Trout Fishing Kit. Found this one at Walmart. Now, I'm not sponsored by Mystery Tackle Box in any way, so when I'm doing these unboxing videos, you guys are getting a completely unbiased opinion on what's in the box, how good it is. So this one I think was $18 on the shelf. That's how much it costs, and it says here it's got a total value of $25. So we're going to open this box, go through what's in here, and see if it's actually worth that and how good this box really is. But before we do, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button down there and the notify bell next to it and click all notifications so you guys will be the first to see all the great content that's going to come from this channel. So for those of you that are new to the channel and unfamiliar with this, I actually had a really long running subscription with Lucky Tackle Box, and there's the tower of boxes. Minus ones where I've used the boxes for other things. And one of the things I loved about the Lucky Tackle Box subscription, and I'm finding out with these boxes too, is it's a great way to find new stuff you've never seen before. I actually found some of my, what's probably going to be my lifelong favorite lures from Lucky Tackle Box, and I'm starting to get a few new ones from these Mystery Tackle Box ones too. So if you guys are looking for a sneak peek on what's in what box, this is box number 170 for the Panfish and Trout Fishing Kit. And for these, I always show that they're completely sealed, so this is the first opening I'm getting. You guys are getting my raw, unfiltered reaction. So this is just a box that, you know, they use for the shelves in the store. When you get these as a subscription from the company you buy them from, they actually come in boxes like this in the mail. And you pay whatever it is a month, and you get your box of goodies every month. You know, they say it's like Christmas every month, and it actually really does feel like it. So let's go ahead, dig in, and see what we got going here. So we get a list of what's inside, and it's a sticker. I don't know why, but here's a better sticker in the box. Yeah, I'll have to find a spot for that guy. So you get this little magazine booklet thing that comes with tips and tricks. Don't know if anything in here is directly related to what's in this box, but there's usually useful information in there. Alright, first thing I'm pulling out is from Supreme? There's no E at the end. Anyway, it's a 1/4 ounce spinner. Don't really need to talk too much about a spinner. I'm pretty sure that all my viewers have used spinners for years. So this is a bullet style spinner because that weight there is shaped like a bullet head. I like that color pattern though, that black paint with the yellow and red spots and stripes on this. We got a French leaf style blaze, same thing you'd find on a blue fox. Pretty beefy hook on here, but that's actually that's a pretty heavy lure for the size of presentation. Yeah, this is something definitely worth throwing around, probably for bass. It's a bigger, more aggressive trout. Like I'm looking at this and I'm seeing cutthroat on Sandy Am, or maybe the Alcee if time permits. But yeah, the more I'm looking at this, the more I'm holding it, the more I'm liking that compact frame for how heavy it is. You know, most 1/4 ounce spinners, they use a big beefy weight on there, and I don't think this is tungsten. Yeah, and this doesn't say anything about it being tungsten. But yeah, a spinner that size and color, I mean, this is the type of thing I'd be using a little bit deeper in rivers, so in those deeper eddies or in a lot muddier water, that black color is going to stand out pretty well. And the same would go for lakes and ponds if you're fishing for trout, stock trout, or bass with this thing. Alright, next we've got a highly overlooked, underutilized lure for pan fishing. A mini spinner, and this thing's got some, looks like it's got some feather for the skirt. It's a 1/16 ounce from Cutie Spin. You know, the great thing about these little spinners is you fish it the exact same way you would a big spinner for bass. You're just fishing a smaller presentation for smaller but just as aggressive fish. I don't think so, but let's check. This is the first thing you always want to check when you get a new spinner, is check that barrel for the blade. It's not that good. I know it's a real small leaf too, it's super tiny Colorado leaf, but what you want to do is you want to get that blade spinning and seeing how long it'll spin, how good that swivel is, and this is barely even spinning. Yeah, it's got feather for the skirt there. Yeah, tossing this on a light action rod. I mean, this would be a great crappie lure. So crappie in the summer, they're going to go for the deeper spots in the lake, and they're going to congregate around the bushes, and a lot of the places around the areas that I fish have these big, huge hydrilla bushes. That's where the crappie are going to be hanging out. So you bring this thing in and around those brush piles, and that's where spinners excels, because they can get through the grass, they can get through the tendrils of the hydrilla, pop it through, let it fall, jig it back up, and that's going to trigger those crappie into striking. But if you're new to spinner fishing, even for panfish, it mimics a small school of fish, and I can't tell you how many times I've caught crappie that have fish almost that exact same size in their stomach when I'm butchering them. Yeah, that blade puts off the thump in the water and the flash, and when they come in, it's actually that bigger weight with the feather skirt on there with the hook that's going to draw them in. Seeing that larger profile, they're going to go for the bigger meal instead of the smaller one that blade is trying to mimic. And I have some extra blades. I might actually upgrade the size of the blade on that. I'll play around with this one. And we've got some, oh, cool. I'll do this first. We got a 5-pack of Eagle Claw 1/8 ounce size spoons. Always go for more of these. I am an absolute sucker for spoon fishing for trout. And 1 more spoon is welcome. 5 more spoons are definitely welcome. So we've got a classic steelhead style red spoon with a white stripe, yellow and red diamond pattern, sort of like a card from a deck of cards. Black and yellow one, sort of the same color pattern as that spinner. Red with black spots. Now this is going to be a money color come wintertime. And a yellow and orange, almost like a sunset color. So these little, I don't know what to call them, they're sort of like vortex style spoons. So Thomas Spoon makes a cyclone style of their spoons, and they're shaped the same way. These things have a really, really tight roll in the water. And again, perfect size for a crappie too. But fishing these things for bass, so an overlooked method for spoon fishing for bass, even with smaller ones like this, is jigging it. So it's going to mimic a small dying fish. It's going to come up, and it's going to, that sort of leaf shape to it is going to cause it to sort of like roll this way, and you jig it back up, and it's going to roll that way again. It's going to mimic a fish that is trying to revive itself, and then sort of fluttering back down, revive itself, fluttering back down. Easy prey for a bass. They're going to key into that real quickly and just come hammer it. Especially that red one there. That is a welcome color. That just says fall trout fishing all over it. Okay, now to the one I was looking at when I pulled that out and saw that pack of spoons down there. From Mismo Bait Company. Some little panfish size tubes. Now these things, again, classic panfish lures. Especially for crappie and for sunfish, red ear sunfish, the pumpkin seed sunfish. The ones war mouths, the one that have the bigger mouths, but they're just panfish size, like a thick bluegill. So you just put a small tube jig inside that and just drag this thing on the bottom. Fish this thing a lot of the same way if you're experienced with bass fishing the Ned rig. Fish this exactly the same way you would a Ned rig. Just slow drags on the bottom, sometimes giving it a tiny hop, or if you're going for crappie, dance this thing around those hydrilla bushes I was talking about. Let it get down to however deep the hydrilla bushes are, sometimes 10 to 15 feet deep in the ponds and lakes around here where I fish. And what you're doing, and you need an ultralight rod to do this, is you toss it out and you're literally just dancing the tip of your rod, and that tube is absolutely going ballistic. Those little tendrils on there are just flying out in every which direction. Drives fish nuts. That little brown and black color pattern with the white tendrils on there. They look sort of like a little mud bug, sort of like a little tiny goby. Those would probably do really well for some smallmouth on the Calpullia too. Oh, that's strong. That's got some plastic scent to it. Yeah, it looks like they're coated in salt, but yeah, that plastic scent on these, I'd put some scent on this if you're gonna fish them too. Ew, that's what I'm talking about. From Bobby Garland Crappie Bait, some chartreuse baby shad style plastics. These get the job done. And oh, that color's good. It's like a bass fry. So yeah, long-time viewers of the channel, you guys know exactly how I'd fish this, how I'd rig this up, just on the ultralight 2-pound test line, 1/32 ounce jig head, and just twitch this thing, bounce this thing, make this thing go nuts. Those tails, I mean, just on a steady retrieve, it's still kicking like it would a tail, but if you jig that thing, I mean, the way that thing just goes nuts in the water, same thing as the tube, but just a bigger presentation, draws in bigger fish like that. even just sitting these things still. So even if you're just gonna float and fly this thing, where you do the same thing, just a 1/32 ounce jig head, but you run this under a bobber, and all you do is you slowly drag it with the bobber, that being sort of like your strike indicator. But even just sitting still, there is still going to be a current, there's going to be moving water underneath the surface that's going to cause that tail to move even if it's just sitting still. So even suspended, this is going to do a lot to draw fish in. Yeah, honestly, if those spoons weren't in there, this would be my #1 from the box so far. Especially that color. So not only is it like a baby bass color, but so it being the summer now here in Oregon, during this time of year, a lot of the smaller bait fish, they sort of get this color to them anyway, especially the dying fish. Bass, they are engineered to recognize this color as a dying fish. So bluegill, when they start dying off, they actually get a real hot chartreuse color to their tails. So they're going to already look at that color and just think it's food no matter what. And then, last but not least, I love this company, some color-changing grubs from Smart Baits. So I don't know what wizardry this company employs to make these things do what they do, but #1, I mean, oh yeah, that grub, just that long curly tail to it, and also the ribbed body, that's just putting off water left and right. Oh hey, cool, it's got a triple tail on there. The end of the tail has 3, it splits off into 3 at the end. So this one by itself is a watermelon red flake color. So the way these color change baits work is the color you see in the package is how they look in cold water. But when you warm them up, I think the temperature threshold for these, if I remember correctly, is 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you fish them on a really hot day, they're going to change color. So it's kind of hard to see in this light, but it's actually taken on more of a chartreuse color now. Yeah, I've already got some grubs from these guys, actually from Lucky Tackle Box. The first time I saw these guys, I got some grubs from them that are red that turn to that chartreuse color. Best thing about a lure like that is you get to throw something to the fish they've probably never seen before. So really pressured areas, you want to use something that has some scent because it sort of throws off the human scent on the lure. They get really familiar to that scent, especially seeing lures come by their face all hours of the day, sort of turns them off to the bite. But when you show them something they've never seen before, something that changes color mid-retrieve, they're overly curious fish. They have to come inspect it, and guess what? They don't have hands. They have to inspect it with their face. But that size there, we're definitely looking at smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, and crappie. If you get a bluegill that'll eat this thing, keep the bluegill. But yeah, that guy's definitely looking like a 1/16, 1/8 ounce jig head. I wouldn't go any higher than a 1/8 ounce jig head. And yeah, just a slow, steady retrieve from this thing. So, you know, that extra long tail with that split into 3 at the end, it's going to do all the action you need. You don't really need to, like, hop it or jerk it. Just steady retrieve on this thing. Grubs work, period. And longtime viewers know they're probably my favorite way to fish for panfish, universally across all panfish species. So now the ultimate question, was that box worth it? Absolutely. I did not find a single thing in that box that I didn't immediately know how I could use it, where I could use it. Anything in a mystery box from Smart Baits is welcome in my book. That guy right there is absolute money. This one, like I said, I might make some changes, I might make some alterations to, but I mean, I get to find and use so few spinner baits of that size, so yeah, thank you. And then we got 2 of the most common and universally well-known trout hard lures on earth. The only thing I'll say on these is change out those treble hooks because eagle claws suck. I mean, if you guys want to know what route I'm going to take with this, yeah. But now I want to know, you guys thought down in the comments below, what did you guys think about what was in that box? Did you think it was worth it? Let me know what cool new things you guys have found in your subscription box. And again, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down there and the notify bell next to it and click all notifications so you guys will be the first to see all the great content that's going to come from this channel. And other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, tips up, tight lines, and have fun fishing.